Everywhere I go, the children rise. Everywhere I go, the children rise. I saw them just rise up, the wicked run. I saw them just rise up, the wicked run. Equal rights and justice, when I defend, we won't run away. Run away, run away, run away, run away. We won't run away. Run away, run away, run away, run away. If you go in America, if you go in Canada, if you go in Africa, I saw them just rise up, the wicked run. I saw them just rise up, the wicked run. I saw them just rise up, the wicked run. We won't run away. Run away, run away, run away, run away. We won't run away. Run away, run away, run away, run away. I get rolling to the people, yeah. The fire burn them wicked, wicked people, then the fire burn the wicked, wicked men. The fire burn them wicked, wicked friend. Fire burn on the wicked, burn on them say. The fire burn the wicked, wicked country, and the fire burn the wicked, wicked town. The fire burn the wicked, wicked city. Fire burn on the wicked, burn them. When it's impossible to see what's become of our people in their life, we do with so much evil. We will wobble, a triple ton and trouble them. Sell them soldiers to work for the devil. But judges say, judgment will soon come when the walls of our son once again can complete and win. Beautiful Nash, people them are more with judge you for all these rocks and fire and bring the fire burn them wicked, wicked people. Then the fire burn the wicked, wicked men. The fire burn them wicked, wicked friend. Fire burn down the wicked, burn down all of them. They say the fire burn the wicked, wicked country. The fire burn the wicked, wicked town. The fire burn the wicked, wicked city. Fire burn on the wicked, burn on Babylon. You know the people them must suffer and the world are eat and bleed while you spread your lies and propaganda, sow your bloody seed. The children working, the fingers to the bone, and you pay all the money to some pretty face without a clothes. And your time will come, it will come. Just say when you beg the hills for cover, but the hills will run away. When we listen, when we learn, it will too late to have forgiveness when you will begin to burn. The fire burn them wicked, wicked people. The fire burn the wicked, wicked men. The fire burn them wicked, wicked friend. Fire burn down the wicked, burn down all of them. Certain nations out instead. I give a little and even shed the tears. Easy selling our daughters for some butter or the bread. The fathers giving their lives up to son, doing battle for the devil, warring for the wicked one. You might think this is just another song, but the blood you spill keep calling out a long way. Yeah. The fire burn them wicked, wicked people. The fire burn the wicked, wicked men. The fire burn them wicked, wicked friend. Fire burn down the wicked, burn down all of them. They say fire burn them wicked, wicked. wicked people and the fire burn for wicked men. The fire burn your wicked friend. Fire burn down.
I want to say shalom and blessings to all of my brothers and sisters, my kinsmen, according to the flesh, who are Israelites, to whom pertain the adoption and the glory and the covenants and the giving of the law and the service of Elohim and the promises, whose are the fathers, and of whom, as concerning the flesh, our Mashiach came, who is over all, Elohim blessed forever and ever. I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to our Heavenly Father, to His divine Son, Yehoshua HaMashiach, our Redeemer, and to the Ruach HaKodesh, the Holy Spirit, the Spirit of truth, the Spirit of comfort, the one and only divine Elohim, the great Elohim from our great forefathers, starting with Adam, to the great patriarchs, to the holy prophets, and the holy apostles, and to the scattered abroad today, even us. I want to say shalom and blessings to everybody in the chat. Hope all is well. Hope everybody having a blessed day and having a blessed week, in spite of what's going on in the world, what's going on in our environment. Most High said He would be a sanctuary unto His people. So my hope is that that's happening with everybody today. We're going to be dealing with the topic of the type to embrace and the type to avoid. I'm going to be really directing this toward my brothers. And I decided that when dealing with these types of issues, I'm going to just direct what I have to say to my brothers. Oftentimes, whenever I deal with things like this, one of the sentiments that's expressed is, why don't you say anything to the men when, I'm just as balanced with the men as I am with the sisters. But I decided to, whenever I deal with this issue from now on, or issues like this, to just direct it toward the brothers, and the sisters can listen in, because although I'm directing it to the brothers, there's still information that I will be presenting that the sisters can use and be edified from as well, those who need it. We all need a good word of encouragement from time to time. We all need a reminder, of what's right, what's the Most High's way. And those who these things don't apply to, feel free to just share it with brothers and sisters that you know on your job, in your community, that could benefit from this kind of information. This is one of the main purposes that we do what we do, to try to help to edify our people and share our experiences, things that we overcame and had to deal with. And the Most High was gracious enough to us to allow us to be here to express some of these things. So we're going to be dealing with the type to embrace and the type to avoid. All right, in light of what's going on with the how can I word it? The current political movement. And you all know what I mean when I say that. I think it's wise to address our brothers and, really put the focus on the brothers. A lot of focus is being put on the sisters when it comes to this issue, and rightfully so. But I believe that some of this focus needs to be turned to our men in an objective way, especially the younger men who are living their life, growing and maturing and having desires that men have. These are the main people who need to be addressed with this type of information. So I want to lift up the brothers today. I want to give some warnings from the scripture for our brothers, especially, those who are in the world and struggling and dealing with these types of things. The word of the Most High is a good encourager for those who are looking and seeking for truth and sincere about wanting to change and let some of these things go, because a lot of this is an attack on our people altogether. But we need a good, strong front with our brothers, and we need our sisters to support this as well, support this truth, be accountable. Let's accept what we do. And in accepting what we do, we turn to the Most High and we repent and acknowledging our sins and the sins of our forefathers. And he said he would hear us in that regard and heal our land. But we got to be true. We got to be honest about our condition as a people. And so I'm going to be dealing with the brothers tonight. Sisters can listen in, because it's going to be some good information for both our brothers and our sisters. Before we continue, though, I want to say shalom and blessings to my Salt of the Earth brothers. Hope y'all doing well. Brother Bunya, Brother Cleo, Brother Hal, Brother Kadar, and Brother Yash. Hope you brothers doing well. If you didn't catch the Kingdom Conversations last night, go back and check that out. It's up on the channel. I was able to chime into it. I didn't join last night, but I was able to chime in. I had some other things going on. But shalom to my brothers nonetheless. I want to see who I got in the chat today. Brother Jason Camphor in the #1 spot. Shalom and blessings to you, Brother Jason. Hope you're doing well. Good to see you in the chat. Brother Darnell Blackshear, shalom and blessings to you. As always, good to see you in the chat. Hope all is well. Brother Donovan Ben Yehuda, shalom and blessings to my brother Donovan. Hope all is well. As always, good to see you in the chat. Brother Jason Philip McCauley, brother in truth, shalom and blessings to my brother Jason. Hope you're doing well, bro. As always, it's a blessing to have you. Good to see you in the chat. Mr. The Original School, shalom and blessings to Mr. The Original School. Good to see you in the chat as always. Hadasah Yah Yisrael, shalom and blessings to you, Sister Hadasah. Good to see you in the chat. Hope all is well. Mikael Yasharel, shalom and blessings. Good to see you in the chat as always. Hope you're doing well. Come love in the chat. Shalom to you. As always, good to see you. Shalom and blessings. Shalom and blessings to my brother Ty C. Rowland. Shalom and blessings, brother Ty C. Good to see you in the chat as always, bro. Hope you're doing well. Glad you could chime in. Shalom to the brother Sean. Hope you're doing well, brother Sean. Good to see you in the chat. Trying to see if I can see all of these. Hope you're doing well, brother Sean. Glad you could chime in. As always, it's a blessing to have you. Hope you're having a blessed week. Got my sister Yvette Rivera. Shalom and blessings to Sister Yvette. Hope you're doing well, Sister Yvette. As always, glad to see you in the chat. We got Ashley Shantae the jeweler. Shalom and blessings, Sister Ashley. Shantae, good to see you in the chat. Hope all is well. Glad you could chime in. Got the brother Rojo. Shalom to the brother Rojo. Hope all is well. Good to see you, bro. Hope you're having a blessed week. Notorious Hebrew, Sister Notorious Hebrew. Shalom and blessings. Good to see you in the chat as always. Sister Joy 31608. Shalom and blessings, Sister Joy. Hope you're doing well. Glad you could chime in as always. Good to see you. Fatima Yahudim Shah Yasharel. Shalom and blessings to Sister Fatima. Hope you're doing well, sis. Glad to see you. It's a blessing to have you. Stay on Fire Ministries. Shalom and blessings to you. Good to see you in the chat. Glad you could chime in. Got the Torah group. Shalom and blessings to my brothers over there at the Torah group. If y'all haven't checked those brothers out, go check the channel out. You can type it in on the YouTube, the Torah group. Go over there and at the least subscribe to those brothers. You know, check out the videos. You know, let's try to support what I like to call black media, quote unquote. You know, a lot of people don't watch a lot of TV nowadays. So, excuse me, YouTube and other platforms has taken the world by storm. And now, you know, it's become a outlet for information for a lot of people, you know, for those who use it wisely. You know what I mean? It's a lot of weird stuff out there, but for those who can discern well, you can navigate and know who you can listen to and fellowship with, who you can't. And these brothers are solid, you know. So go check them out. Up next, shalom and blessings. Good to see you in the chat. Hope you're doing well. You got Brother Rio. What's going on, Brother Rio? Hope you're doing well, bro. Shalom to you. Good to see you in the chat, as always. Got Up Next. Did I already say Up Next? Yeah. Shalom again. Got Shebrew Naturals. Shalom and blessings. Hope all is well. Good to see you in the chat. Got Ryan Harris, Israel. Shalom and blessings to my brother Ryan Harris, Israel. Hope you're doing well, brother Ryan. Good to see you in the chat. Got my brother Jabroni peeping the scene. That's brother Jabroni's intro right there. Peeping the scene. Shalom to the brother Jabroni. Hope you're doing well. Seeking the Most High. Shalom and blessings to you. Hope all is well with you. Seeking the Most High. Glad you could chime in. So now, before we get into the actual meat of what we dealing with, and I actually didn't have this mapped out. I kind of got some things pulled up that I want to get into. We're going to be looking at a couple of videos tonight, but the opening passage tonight I want to use is coming from a source dealing with King Solomon. All right. Now, since we dealing with the brothers tonight, dealing with the types to embrace and to avoid, right? Dealing with, you know, when a man comes of age and desires a woman, you know, a lot of times we're not taught how to go about that. And oftentimes we mimic the world and we go after the model of the world, and we end up in situations oftentimes that we shouldn't end up in, that we can't get out of due to not being educated properly, not having the right discipline within ourselves, and from outside, you know, the right environment. You know, we always talk about the things that we're taught growing up, you know, is important, and that's very key when we're dealing with this. We have to factor that in, because men as well as women, I'm talking about our people, when we grow up, oftentimes we're not raised the proper way. And when I say that, I'm talking about in terms of how to choose mates, how to go about certain things in life. You know, some of us come from pretty solid backgrounds and we, you know, do the best we can. You know, we come from parents and people who did the best they could, you know, some of us, but a lot of us don't. And oftentimes we don't consider that. And you look at where we are as a people now, it's because we haven't factored that in. A lot of the things that we do are contrary to the things that the Most High unctioned us to do as a people. And in most cases, we're not even aware of that. So as men, We want to set a good example. And this is for me too. You know, what I want to do is I want to open up with a passage dealing with King Solomon. And we know King Solomon, one of the main reports that we hear about King Solomon is that he was a wise man, one of the wisest kings to rule. And then on the flip side, we hear that, you know, he fell off through wickedness and idolatry. He married a lot of strange women. You know, he yielded to all of those women. And as a result of that, he fell into idolatry, you know, and out of favor with the Most High. But the Bible tells us that King Solomon was the wisest man, one of the wisest men to ever live, one of the richest as well. But I want to read this passage dealing with him because when our forefather King Solomon was in his right mind, operating according to the Most High, he had a certain character about himself. He had a certain way that he operated. He had a certain way that he dealt with people. He had a certain way that he dealt with situations, you know, and I want to kind of use that to start, because this is a good model for us as men to follow. You know, not to say that we should follow after his errors, but when the Most High was dealing with him in his righteousness, he had a certain character, a certain way about himself. And I want to bring that out because this is something that we as men can mimic. Check it out. It says right here, it says, now at that time, King Solomon wished to build the house of Elohim. He sent out messages among all the merchants in the east and in the west and in the north and in the south, bidding the merchants come and take gold and silver from him, so that he might take from them whatsoever was necessary for the work. All right, so basically he wanted to trade or barter his gold and the silver for all the necessary materials to build the temple of the Most High. All right. It says, and certain men reported to him concerning this rich Ethiopian merchant. And Solomon sent to him a message and told him to bring whatsoever he wished from the country of Arabia, red gold and black wood that could not be eaten by worms, and sapphires. Anybody ever heard of red gold and black wood? You know, if we were to have these things today, they would be of high value. I don't know how people get marble put in their houses and all that kind of stuff. With red gold, you know. It says, and that merchant, whose name was Tamarin, the merchant of the Queen of Ethiopia. All right, you can read, I think it's in Matthew, where Mashiach mentions the Queen of Ethiopia, how the Queen of the South is going to confound that generation of Mashiach because she believed the words or the wisdom of Solomon. All right, it says, the Queen of Ethiopia went to Solomon the king, and Solomon took whatsoever he desired from him, and he gave to the merchant whatsoever he wished for in great abundance. Now that merchant was a man of great understanding. He saw and comprehended the wisdom of Solomon, and he marveled thereat. He watched carefully so that he might learn how the king made answer by his word and understand his judgment, and the readiness of his mouth, and the discreetness of his speech, and the manner of his life, and his sitting down and his rising up, and his occupations, and his love, and his administration, and his table, and his law. All right. So this merchant from Ethiopia, he went and observed King Solomon and all of his doings, all of his ways, basically. You know how it says that whenever you trying to do right, or whenever you trying to accomplish something or be something, it's always somebody watching you. All right, and that's for good and for evil. This was a wise man, a merchant from Ethiopia. And he went and he pretty much observed King Solomon, scouted out everything that he did because he was marveled at the wisdom of King Solomon. And so these are just characteristics that we as men can look at. We want to read some more, but these are just certain characteristics of King Solomon that were worthy to marvel over. All right. And because of these things, he was considered wise, you know, and people gravitated to him as a reason for that. It says, to those whom Solomon had to give orders, he spake with humility and graciousness. And when they had committed a fault, he admonished them gently. He ordered his house in the wisdom and fear of Elohim, and he smiled graciously on the fools and set them on the right road, and dealt gently with the maidservants. He opened his mouth in parables, and his words were sweeter than the purest honey. His whole behavior was admirable, and his whole aspect pleasant. For wisdom is beloved by men of understanding, and is rejected by fools. So all these characteristics of King Solomon, it says that these things are beloved by men of understanding. Right? How many people have exercised some of these characteristics and people hated you for it? How many have tried to live and exercise a righteous life, trying to live by the Most High, trying to adopt the principles that he wants us to adopt? And because of that, people hate you. All right, but it says that these things are beloved by men of understanding and is rejected by fools. All right, so here's why people hate you when you try to serve the Most High, when you try to, like the scriptures say, be transformed by the renewing of your mind. All right, because all of these are aspects of the mind and the heart. Once these things are in your mind and in your heart, and they come out. It says, and when that merchant had seen all these things, he was astonished, and he marveled exceedingly. For those who were wont to see Solomon held him in complete affection, and he became their teacher. And because of his wisdom and excellence, those who had once come to him did not wish to leave him and go away from him. And the sweetness of his words was like water to the man who was athirst, and like bread to the hungry man, and like healing to the sick man, and like apparel to the naked man. He was like a father to the orphans, and he judged with righteousness and accepted the persons of no man, since he was impartial. He had glory and riches, which Elohim had given unto him in great abundance, namely gold and silver and precious stones and rich apparel and cattle and sheep and goats innumerable. So he was a very, very rich and wealthy man, as well as a wise man and an honorable man. And because of those things, the Most High gave him his riches. All right. We know that wisdom is the mother of riches. It says, now in the days of Solomon, the king, gold was as common as bronze, and silver as lead, and bronze as lead and iron were as abundant as the grass of the fields and the reeds of the desert. And cedar wood was also abundant. So he said gold, silver, and bronze, all these things were abundant during his time. Cedar wood was also abundant. That's probably one of the most expensive types of wood you can buy. You know, when you go to these high-end homes and all that, this is the type of stuff they have in there to decorate it. You know, cedar wood and gold and silver and all those types of things. It says, and Elohim had given unto him glory and riches and wisdom and grace in such abundance that there was none like unto him among his predecessors. And among those who came after him, there was none like unto him. So that's just something to open up with. You know, this is dealing with the details of his character and a lot of what he possessed, you know, the wisdom, the wealth, and just how his overall demeanor was as a man. You know, how he dealt with people, how he dealt with the poor, the sick, the hungry, you know, how he comforted his people with his words. And so as men, this is one of the things we can understand and learn about ourselves. And it's not necessarily to doing these things to be able to be with a woman or to have a woman, but in doing these things, these types of things will draw the type of woman to you that you want to have, or the type of woman that you should have. You know, if we're strong in these things, then we can discern, you know, what's approaching us or what's trying to, you know, attach themselves to us, you know. And so it says, let me see, there was a part I wanted to highlight. Let me hold on. Shalom, brother Banya. What's going on, bro?
Yo, peace and blessings, my dude. How you doing?
All right.
I'm just sitting here having a little lunch, my dude.
Having some
Anybody
lunch.
that know anything about that?
Yeah.
Philly cheese steak.
Philly cheese.
Yeah, ain't even in Philly, man. But they make the good Philly cheese steak. This spot that I got this from.
Philly cheese steak in Cali.
Yeah, right. I'm like, yo, y'all gotta be capping over here, dog.
Yep.
It's not bad though. But they need to chill out with this provolone, man. I don't know why they put provolone cheese in here though.
Yeah, they like that TV effect with the cheese.
Mm-hmm.
But man, so what's your thoughts, man, on the character of a man, the demeanor of a man, and what you see in brothers today? I just read a passage dealing with King Solomon and some of his character and how he was considered righteous and wise, and some things we can pick up as men. But what's your thoughts on that?
The brothers I surround myself with, they solid, you know. But I think we all got to be careful who we let into our circles and who we deal with concerning character. You know, you want to deal with brothers that got integrity. First and foremost, brothers who look and see the commandments as a guide on how we should be treating one another. You know, and I always say I don't really deal with friends. Friends are for like teenage years. If I deal with someone and I deem them to be worthy, I look at those people as family. You know, so you know, the character of men. You know, if I was to say from the brothers that I surround myself with, the brothers I surround myself with is the upstanding and brothers of high caliber, of integrity, morality, respect, honor. You know, family men. Men that put their lives on the line to protect their family, to make sure that the children are raised correctly according to what the Bible say, according to what's righteous and upright before the Most High, you know. And that's how every man should be, you know, in a perfect world, not influenced by the things that this place influences people to do, you know.
Yeah. We see that society places images in front of us, you know, how we should be as men, how the women should be. And mostly when it comes to men in this society, it mostly has to do with what a man can provide physically, financially, you know. A lot of dealing with a man has nothing to do with the internal, you know, until we start dealing with, you know, problems and things that we see happening with our brothers, mental issues, breakdowns, and brothers lashing out. Then, you know, that's when we focus on the internal. But, you know, these things go underestimated. And a lot of times, because of that, you know, I believe we get taken advantage of oftentimes as a reason for that, you know. And also outside of that, not having these qualities, it allows us to make bad decisions, make hasty decisions, you know, and not just dealing with women, just with a lot of things in life. You know, I've been through that. You know, sometimes you got to look up and look at yourself, you know, but due to not being raised properly, a lot of young men grow up in environments where there are no solid male figures, you know. And so all you have mostly is, you know, the single mother in the home, and a lot of the mannerisms are picked up after that, you know. So it's a lot to sift through, you know, when you're dealing with this. I just want to focus on what we should be doing as men in light of what we see happening today. You know, a lot of sisters are independent in their mindsets. You know, they have certain objectives in mind, certain things that they want to do. And a lot of times these things are contrary. And so we get accused a lot of times, you know, you brothers need to choose better, you know, need to make better decisions, you know. And so I want to focus on that because that's true, you know.
I want to say, man, yeah, I was going to say, man, a lot of things boil down to decision making, you know, and choices that we make, you know, because there's always a lot of negative influence wherever we go. But I think as individuals, man, we gotta have the wherewithal or the morality within us to want to gravitate towards those things that are right. I can make excuses, bro. I can make a lot of excuses for how I brought up and the people that I brought up around. And I got most of those friends that I grew up with, they're either dead or in jail, you know. And well into my 20s and 30s, I would call back home and hear about these same people that we grew up with murdering each other, you know, over issues that, you know, over stupid stuff. And I'm like, yo, how was I able to find a positive role model within that? And these guys continued on the path that they continued on. And that's because a lot of the stuff that we do, man, we gotta realize, man, we have choices to make as men. You know, as men. and we're forced to grow up young, bro. But once we decide that we've arrived to this point where we want to be men, we can no longer make, or we can't afford to make certain choices. We can't afford to make certain mistakes. You know, you got brothers out there in their 40s still making the same mistakes they was making when they was 13, 14 years old. You know? And brothers are not looking at themselves as leaders. In order for us to be leaders, it takes for us to look at ourselves as leaders first. Nobody's ever going to look at you as a leader until you start leading. You know?
Yep. And that's one of the things that we have to grow into, unfortunately, you know. And I'm saying that because we're not taught that. You know, we're not taught and raised to believe that we're leaders, you know, as men. However, there is a lot of expectation for that, you know. It's just not encouraged. It's not really taught. It's just expected. And so at a young age, we grow up under a lot of pressure. This is why, you know, when it comes to our people, a lot of times we consider ourselves old at a young age. You know, with black people, you old when you turn 30.
Mm.
You know, 40. Whereas when you read the scriptures, our forefathers was barely starting their lives most times at 30 and 40. When I say that, this is when they found their wives, you know, well into their 30s and 40s. Some of them still lived, you know, under their fathers, where they, you know, they received an inheritance under their fathers. So you didn't have this issue of having a struggle with family and all that kind of stuff, because you had a different situation back then. A lot of things was understood. But nowadays, you know, this is, you know, it's all mixed up. You know, we're not raised to believe that we're the head of anything. That's one of the points I want to get into next. I want to take a break real quick though, and when I come back, I want to address the brothers, because I brought this out before, to let the brothers know who we are. You know, science has proven that Adam, or who they call Adam, the first man, was a black man. So we've said before that as black men, we are the image of the Most High on the earth. That's the first thing we need to understand. That's the first thing we need to embrace. We're more than just the head of our households. You know, we are the image and the bloodline, the what is it, the posterity of the Most High and his chosen people from ancient times. We are the descendants. So that's something that has to resonate in our minds and in our hearts. You got it, bro. You was gonna say something?
Yeah, I was going to say, man, once we make it past the womb, man, you know, we got to stop being each other's the biggest threat. We got to start uplifting each other. That's why it's so important for us to understand who we are. Because in that, you know, and I know people talk about pride of this, pride of that. Look, let's say not even pride. Let's say dignity. Dignity is essential for one to grow up with confidence in their ability to perform certain things. You know, men need to have the dignity instilled in them in order to fulfill the roles that they need to be fulfilled of them. You know, but you know, we destroy each other, and we hunt at each other. That's what our people do. and it's because we're in this situation of poverty. But even within that situation of poverty, if you know who you are, you can learn to do better. If I put it as an analogy, my grandfather told me when he was younger, he had a teacher that used to tell him he was stupid all the time. And he said by the time he got out of that class, he really thought he was stupid. So instilling negative things into people's minds, the way this society has done, has caused our people to believe that they are what society said they are. You know?
Yeah.
But the threat of becoming an Israelite is understanding that you were made in the image of the Most High, right? And that He spoke things into existence. And even at one point, He said these people would be able to accomplish whatever in their minds when they was building the Tower of Babel. We underestimate our ability to achieve whatever is in our minds as black men, or so-called black men. Every other man on this planet understands that. They understand it. But we don't understand that because it's this constant war and propaganda being put out about our ability to be men.
Yep. And for some reason, that propaganda becomes truth, you know. Not saying it's true that we should believe it, but then it's a constant stigma, you know. As a black man, everybody know I ain't nothing, you know. The whole world know that black men don't want to work, don't want to take care of their families, don't want to love their women, don't want to protect them. And it's all a stigma. It's all false. You know.
Live from the pit of hell.
You know, even the Most High tells us, you know, in so many ways, if we denounce Him and reject Him, that what he'll see what our end gonna be. And so when you put black men in that position, when you put that stigma on them, you know, when it come time for you to need them, you know, what is He gonna be able to do but see what your end is gonna be?
Let me answer up next. I'm not saying those people at Babel was our ancestors, but what I am saying is, if the Most High can say that about them, what we can achieve could be even greater. The Most High split their tongues up and scattered them, but before He did that, He said, let's do this, because whatever they imagined, they would be able to accomplish. All right? So the same goes for us. If we're in line with the Most High, we can carry out His will. Right? You know,
yeah.
That's what I meant. But I'm in no way, shape, or form do I want to imply that that we're the same bloodline of those people.
Right. Just giving you an example of what a people united can accomplish. Even people who not under the Most High, look at what they have accomplished. You know, we know the Most High gonna bring it to an end, but look what they've accomplished. You know, and we're their common denominator. You know, a lot of people say that the other nations are successful and they stick together, but I don't really believe that to the fullest. I don't believe that, you know, to the way that other people believe that. I believe that if it wasn't for us, then the other nations wouldn't have anything to stick together about. We're their what you call their stepping stone.
Mm-hmm.
You
They
know,
they magnify our differences and minimize our achievements. You know,
if you
when
were
we
the
do
ice,
something,
my fault, go
exactly.
ahead.
When we do something that benefits the world, you know, they steal patents and they steal ideas and they claim it for themselves. You know, when we do good, they look for something to say, oh, he was bad. It's like you know, you can have a brother do something to save someone's life, right?
Yeah,
And opposed to being like thanking the brother and saying this is a good man or something like that, they're going, you know, the news will bring up his past history. Oh yeah, he was locked up before, you know, or you know,
yeah,
it's always a spin when our people are murdered. Oh, he did this or whatever on Facebook. He had guns or he had that, you know. But they maximize the things that they do and make it to to be like this great achievement when a lot of the ideas they stole from us.
you know, that's a good analogy because you know what else I noticed? I don't watch sports as much now as I used to, and basketball was my sport of choice. But what I noticed is even in athletics, in sports, you look at players like Michael Jordan, um, Shaquille O'Neal, um, and even now you have Steph Curry, and I'm just using this as an example. These are all brothers who revolutionized the game at some point. You know, you look at Shaquille O'Neal when he first came into the NBA, he was breaking backboards, so they had to change the game for that. You know, they even created a hack a Shack. You know, put him on the free throw line so he can be ineffective because other than that, he's gonna dominate. The point that
Hmm.
I'm making is when you look at Shaquille O'Neal when he got older, you know, and he finished out his career in the NBA, they started to trash him. They started to talk about, you know, how he need to quit, he need to retire, you know, Shaq slow, he weak, he this, he that. And what people are not realizing is that this is a man who, if it wasn't for
Oh,
him,
hold on for 1 second, bro.
yeah. I'm gonna just go ahead and finish the point I was making. But if it wasn't for him, you know, the game wouldn't have changed. You know, if it wasn't for Jordan, even with Michael Jordan, he finished his career out with another team, and people talk down on him. You know, you have a lot of players who did great, revolutionized the game, and once they got to the end of their careers, they got a lot of negative publicity for still trying to play. Whereas you look at white athletes, it don't happen to them, and they make sure they go out in a glorious fashion. You know, so now you have a lot of younger athletes who look at these guys and don't respect them. You know, and because of the lack of respect that these guys receive, they don't really respect or encourage the younger guys. And it's just a way to for us to minimize what our people do. You know, without us, the sports world wouldn't be as attractive as it is. You know,
Not only that, like even with entertainment and music, right? Look how they prop Eminem up, right? And they say Eminem's the best and all that. But I don't know, even though this is secular music, right? But thinking back, there was a guy named Cannabis that used to rap. Yo, this guy was better than Eminem, in my opinion. This guy was better than Eminem in his wordplay, and he wasn't talking about guns and none of that stuff either. He was just lyrical, right? But they shun him for his lyrical acrobatics and his ability to rhyme about anything. But then they accept Eminem, and Eminem doing rhymes about murdering people and being serial killers and stuff like that. He don't do that type of stuff, but they embrace that,
Yeah.
because if he wasn't white, then then he'd just be another dude, another black man trying to rhyme. But because he's white now, that makes it better.
Yeah. Not only that, Eminem got criticized for some of his lyrics being racial. Also, if you listen, a lot of people get lost in that wordplay and lyrics. If you listen to what he's saying, the dude ain't talking about nothing but his upbringing and committing suicide and worshiping the devil and all those different types of things. If you really listen to him, he's just so lyrical with it, and they put it with a beat, and our people, like anything else, just vibe out to it because of the beat, because he's in the environment, not even really vetting what he's talking about or what he's doing, But let's I want to take a break, man. And when we come back, I want to get into what we need to understand as men before we even consider anything, consider finding a woman, consider moving forward in life. We need to understand some basic foundational things. We just saw the character of King Solomon. All right. And we know that King Solomon was the son of King David. King David was a man after the Most High's own heart. And so we saw the character of King Solomon, some things that we can pick up as men. All right. And this is, not to, a lot of people will read those certain characteristics about Solomon and think that, those are soft characteristics, but these are really characteristics of strength. And I'm trying to learn a lot of that myself. The way he dealt with people, the way he dealt with situations, his demeanor in dealing with things. I'm still growing and grooming myself under these things now. And so once we get a good understanding of that, then it's good to understand who we are in this earth, regardless of what situation you come from, what type of upbringing you had. If you are the seed of Abraham in this time, as a man, a black man, these are things you need to understand. When I come back, we're going to read another passage, and then we're going to move forward from there. I want to thank the brother Bunyah for chiming in. He probably going to, you off today, or you going back in? Can you hear me, bro? Well, we'll find out. He may be vibing out with us tonight, or he may have to go back. But in any case, I want to say shalom to everybody. We'll be right back. might use them. If you want to reach out to us, you got any music or anything, any words of encouragement, um, any revelations from the Most High, any videos, anything y'all feel need to be addressed, our emails are scrolling across the bottom. Feel free to reach out to us via email. I want to say shalom and blessings and thank you to everybody who has reached out to us via email. I want to say shalom to my brother Jason Phillip for the encouragement and the support he's been given. Shalom to my sister Linya Yisrael for all the support and the encouragement that she's been given. And to everybody else who has reached out to us and supported us, I want to say thank you and continue. Please continue, especially if you got any music tracks or anything. Brother Rojo said I emailed y'all a sing video. Which email did you send it to? Did you send it to Salt of the Earth or eRestore? If you have anything like that, you can usually send it directly to me or from now on, just send it to both Salt of the Earth and Ebri Store. We have Brother Kadar's email and Brother Yash email as well, if you want to reach out to those brothers. But usually if you have anything like that, you can send it directly to me, or to Salt of the Earth 144. Say Salt of the Earth, okay. I'm gonna get with the brothers on that, or like I say, you can send it directly to me and I'll get it that way, put it in the rotation. All right. So now, what is it that's so important that our brothers need to understand? All right, and I brought this out before. This is an account of Adam and Eve. When you read the book of Genesis is very light on the details of our forefather Adam and our foremother Eve and the things that took place. So there are a lot of accounts that you can read that vary in certain details, but most of these accounts, they align in a lot of things. And so, you can read through them, check the information, and just evaluate it. But I want to read this because this is going to identify and show what our forefather Adam was when the Most High created him. And when you read Luke, the 3rd chapter, starting at, I believe, verse 23 on down, it gives you the lineage going down, counting back from Mashiach down to Adam. And it says that Adam was the son of Elohim, or the son of God. So the Most High created Adam, all right, from the dust of the ground. However, the scriptures let us know that Adam was the son of Elohim, so that it gives us a lineage, counting back from Mashiach down to Adam and even to the Most High himself. So check this out. Who was that? Sister Joyce say she get a lot of compliments. Shalom, Sister Joy. Thank you. I'm glad you like it. I really am. We really, try to give our people something that you can, be glad to have, can have for a long time. And so I'm glad for that. Thank you for that. This is the account of Adam and Eve. This is Satan's account of his expulsion from heaven. All right. So this is Satan getting ready to explain to Adam why he did what he did. All right. It says, in the devil's side, it said, "Oh, Adam, all my enmity and envy and sorrow concern you." All right, so he had enmity and envy against Adam. So when he deceived our foremother Eve, these are the things that he sowed within her when she partook of that fruit. These are the seeds that were sown in her. And it says, "Since of you I am expelled and derived of my glory, which I had in the heavens, in the midst of the angels, and because of you I was cast out unto the earth." Adam answered, "What have I done to you? And what is my blame with you? Since you are neither harmed nor hurt by us, why do you pursue us?" I want y'all to think about that for a second. Think about what this sounds like in our time. Think about the hatred that's being expressed toward our people and who is being expressed by. And what is the main question, or one of the main things that we express? What evil have we done to your people? This is from the beginning. And so this is a direct tie to show us why we see happening what we see happening today. Who is Satan's seed? Who are his people? Who are the Most High's people? How are Satan's people operating toward the Most High's people in this time? This is a direct correlation to that. But he said that all of his enmity, envy, and sorrow concerns him. So he's blaming Adam for why he got expelled or put out of his position, but it wasn't because of him. All right. It says, and the devil replied, Adam, what are you telling me? It is because of you that I have been thrown out there. When you were created, I was cast out from the presence of Elohim and was sent out from the fellowship of the angels. When Elohim blew into you the breath of life, and your countenance and likeness were made in the image of Elohim, Michael brought you and made us worship you in the sight of Elohim. And the Adonai Elohim said, behold, Adam, I have made you in our image and likeness. So think about this, brothers. This is what Satan is telling Adam. When the Most High made you, right? He says that he blew into you the breath of life, and your countenance and likeness were made in the image of Elohim. This is what we need to understand as brothers. When we look at that lineage in Luke, the 3rd chapter, and we read it all the way down to our forefather Adam, this is what we're reading, the image of the Most High in the earth. This is who we are. It says, even Michael brought you and made us worship you in the sight of Elohim. Right? So in the Most High's sight, Michael, the archangel, made all the hosts of heaven worship him. And then it says, and the Adonai Elohim, right, said, behold, Adam, I have made you in our image and likeness. We can show you who this is right here. We can show you this talking about the Mashiach, Yehoshua. He's the one who made all things. That's why it says, and the Adonai Elohim said, because he was the one said, let us make man in our image. When he said, let us make man in our image, he wasn't talking about all men. He was talking about a specific people. And this is what we have to understand as black men. We need to understand that we are the image of the Most High on earth. And we have to fight to represent that. And the way that we do that is by coming back to the truth, repenting, and coming back to the truth. It says, and Michael went out and called all the angels, saying, worship the image of the Adonai Elohim, as the Adonai Elohim has instructed. Worship the image of the Adonai Elohim. We can't see or understand as black men that this is what our designation is. This is why the Most High created us. A lot of people get offended at that. But I challenge anybody to show me something different. How we ended up is another story. We know how we ended up the way we ended up. But this is what the Most High's intent was. This is what we fell from. It says, and Michael himself worshiped first. See? A lot of people don't even believe in this kind of information. But this is record showing you that the angels of heaven were created to worship you. The Bible tells us that, are they not all ministering spirits sent forth to minister for those who are heirs of salvation? This is why Michael worshiped him, because we are the heirs. Mashiach said, to him that overcome, I will grant to sit with me in my throne, even as I have overcame and am set down with my Father in his throne. It says, and Michael himself worshiped first and called me and said, worship the image of Elohim, Yahuwah. And I answered, I do not worship Adam. Right? I do not worship Adam. How we say that in layman's terms, or modern day terms. I ain't bound down to no nigga. I ain't submitting to no nigga, right? Understand the source of your expressions. Nothing is new under the sun. I do not worship Adam. And when Michael kept forcing me to worship, I said to him, why do you compel me? Why are you trying to make me worship him? I will not worship one inferior and subsequent to me. I am prior to him in creation. Who that sound like? We didn't come out of man's rib. Man came out of our womb. Right? How did we come out the man's rib? Right? I will not worship one inferior and subsequent to me. I am prior to him in creation. Before he was made, I was already made. He ought to worship me. What do we read that Mashiach said in that letter to James? He said concerning femaleness that it was not first, but it made for itself powers and gods. But it was not in the beginning when he was created. So right here, the father of lies is doing just that. It says, when they heard this, other angels who were under me refused to worship him. And Michael asserted, worship the image of Elohim. But if now you will not worship, the Adonai Elohim will be wrathful with you. And I said, if he be wrathful with me, I will set my throne above the stars of heaven and will be like the Most High. And the Adonai Elohim was angry with me and sent me with my angels out from our glory. And because of you, we were expelled into this world from our dwellings and have been cast into the earth. Now, he keeps saying because of you, because of you, because of you. But it wasn't because of Adam. It was because he didn't submit, or he didn't yield in the area that he should have yielded. He thought already in his mind that he was the greatest thing. And it was just a matter of time that that would have been expressed regardless of this. But this was the perfect opportunity. Most High said he proves all his creation. All those angels know that they were there before Adam. But that don't mean that they weren't created for a specific purpose. All the angels were created for a specific purpose. He didn't want to fulfill his purpose, and the angels that were under him followed after him. And it says, and immediately we were made to grieve, since we had been deprived of so great glory. and we were pained to see you in such bliss and delights. So they saw Adam in his glory, right? In the image of Most High, and it said that it pained them. They hated that. So with deceit, I assailed your wife and made you to be expelled through her from the joys of your bliss, as I have been expelled from my glory. So because I saw you over there living good in the image of the Most High, I hated on you. And I went and assailed, or I rushed your wife. That's what assail mean, to like take over something, basically. I assailed your wife and made you to be expelled through her from the joys of your bliss, as I have been expelled from my glory. This is a good thing for the sisters to understand. You know, this is not a bringing down of the sisters. Like I said, this is an understanding. Adam fell miserably. And because of him, the whole creation fell, but he had help. Right? He had help. A lot of men are really influenced by the things that they women say and by the things that women want, especially if a man loves a woman. If you know you with a man that love you, then your influence is strong in his life. Not to say that you the head or anything like that, but what you have to say, you know, what you have to instill is important and it's effective. You know, if you feel in some type of way, or if he should be going in a direction or doing a certain thing and you against that, that's going to affect him. All right. But this is why we see what we see happening today. A lot of times the enemy still use the same tactics. He'll work through the woman to bring down a man. All right. If you have this mentality that Satan had in this passage here, right? The Bible said to the woman to reverence your husband, even as Sarah reverenced Abraham and calling him Lord. That's a hard saying for a lot of people to accept. Even a lot of brothers cringe at that. But that's what's written. You know, if anybody deserves that gratitude, it would be a man such as Abraham's caliber, such as Solomon's caliber, when he was in his righteous state, before he did what he did. You know, our forefather they weren't whoremongers and, you know, lustful and all those types of things. Go back and read about them. That wasn't the mindset or the heart that they had. And when they did, the Most High dealt with them. You know? So this is something we need to understand as brothers. When he made our forefather Adam, he made him in his image. He created him to be worshiped, to have dominion. And if we combine this understanding with the understanding of what we read with the character of King Solomon, then we can start putting things together. You know, we can start putting ourselves in a position to be back right here with what we reading right here. And whoever not with it, just not with it. That's on them. You know, we're not here to justify people's thoughts on what the Most High did with the man. We can't do anything about that. All we can do is accept what he put out there and do what we can to reach for that. All right. Once we understand these things, then we can start positioning ourselves to find the things that we desire, however we desire. And most oftentimes, what a man desires is to have a legacy of his own, a family of his own, you know, find him a wife, have some children, you know, have a good way or means to provide, you know, and live your life. Give me a second, y'all. Give me a second. Give me 1 second, y'all. I'm gonna have to relocate here. That's what's taking me a minute. Should already. All right. Just that cord. All right. This is it's the Testament of Reuben. 1 second. This is the Testament of Reuben, chapter 4. Once we understand who we are, what our character should be. What's up, bro? Right now. Once we understand who we are, what our character should be, now we can, you know, kind of have an idea of what to look for. And the Bible tells us that when a man finds a wife, he finds a good thing. And that's true. But that doesn't necessarily mean to just go out and just start searching, you know, wasting your time and trying to deal with a lot of different women. You know what I mean? A lot of brothers resort to that. And like everything else, it has an end, certain consequences, you know. And it's not to say that, you know, you should how you put it, isolate yourself, you know. It's okay to meet people. It's okay to, you know, connect with people. But it's a certain way we go about things. And when it comes to finding a wife, we as brothers, we have advice from the word on how to do that. A lot of times this is, you know, part of what we're not taught. But in the Testament of Reuben, give me 1 second. Why is it doing that? That's why. All right. It's chapter 4. Verse 1. It says, "Pay no heed, therefore, my children, to the beauty of women, nor set your mind on their affairs." So right off the bat, it's telling the men to pay no heed. It says, "My children, pay no heed, therefore, my children, to the beauty of women." Basically telling you, don't let this be the determining factor or the main determining factor of why you try to be with a woman or why you try to choose a woman, right? Or why you desire a woman. Because most men, just because a woman is beautiful don't mean you can have her. Pay no heed to that, meaning don't let that be your main determining factor as to why you choose a woman. All right. Nor set your mind on their affairs. All right. Don't be the type of dude that, will go all out for a woman just to try to have her, but walk in singleness of heart in the fear of Yahuwah and expend labor on good works and on study and on your flocks until Yahuwah give you a wife whom he will, that ye suffer not as I did. So I've read this many times before, and this is something that I'm going to reiterate and keep reiterating as to how a man can go about finding a wife. He said, expend your labor on good works and on study. In other words, if you're a single brother, you young, find you a job or something, something you can do to make you some money or something to stay active, expend your labor on good works and on study. While you're doing that, use that time to get close to the Most High, to learn as much as you can about the Most High. Study, read the Bible, study it, try to apply it to your life, the 10 Commandments, to the best of your ability. Let that be your foundation. Then from there, you go out, you find you a nice job to get into, get you a gym membership or something, stay active, play some open court ball or something, and then it says the Most High will give you a wife. You pray to the Most High and ask him, Father, help me put these urges that I have as a man in proper perspective. As men, we grow and you desire a woman. That's just the nature of it. But you want those things to be put in perspective, because a lot of people feel like just because you have those urges that you have to act on them. You have to fulfill them by all means. But if you trust the Most High, he'll help you put those things in perspective. And I know that by experience. I'm a man. I've lived my life, and the Most High has delivered me and showed me a lot of things. But it says that Yahuwah will give you a wife whom he will choose, whom he will, that ye suffer not as I did, because he made a mistake in sleeping with his father's concubine. So as a young man, this is the advice, and this is something that we should all be taught, and even if you already have a wife and the sisters that's listening in, we can read these things as a means to make adjustments within ourselves. It's never too late to start over and to do things right. Well, I ain't gonna say it's never too late, but while we can, we should take advantage of that. This is what we should do as brothers. Focus on, you know, working things out, making you some money, you know, getting into a good habit, a good routine, pray to the Most High, and He'll send you a wife whom He'll choose. All right. Now, what type of wife should you desire? Let's get into like I said, I didn't have this mapped out. You got my phone, baby. Give me 1 second. All right. It says, who can find a virtuous wife? For her price is far above rubies. The heart of her husband doth safely trust in her, so that he shall have no need of spoil. All right. So, one of the first attributes of a virtuous wife outside of her worth is that the heart of her husband does safely trust in her. All right. There's a question that was asked, can a woman be virtuous without a husband? And my answer to that is many women have done virtuously. But when you read the scripture of a virtuous woman, it ties her to a husband. So that's part of your virtue as a woman, to have a husband, to be able to build a legacy, have children, raise them up in the right way, and be of good rapport among your people. The heart of her husband does safely trust in her, so that he shall have no need of spoil. She will do him good and not evil all the days of her life. This is the type of woman, when it said that when you expend yourself on good labor and good works, until the Most High send you a wife whom He will, this is what He sends. All right. This is not, like I said, all of us can take this in and we can make adjustments, because this is what the standard of the Most High is. It says, she seeketh wool and flax and worketh willingly with her hands. All right. She's not idle. She ain't lazy. You know, she seeketh wool and flax and worketh willingly with her hands. She is like the merchant's ships. She bringeth her fruit from far. She riseth also while it is yet night, and giveth meat to her household and a portion to her maidens. All right. Now within, you know, this, if you read this within the context of our culture, you know, this is all of what she had, you know, but this is her character. It says, she considereth the field and buyeth it. With the fruit of her hands, she planted the vineyard. She girdeth her loins with strength and strengthened her arms. Right? So a virtuous woman is strong. Women can be strong. Right? It's just that a woman's strength is exemplified in a different manner. But she is strong. She girdeth her loins with strength and strengtheneth her arms. You know, it says she perceiveth that her merchandise is good. Her candle goeth not out by night. She layeth her hands to the spindle, and her hands hold the distaff. She stretcheth out her hand to the poor. Yea, she reacheth forth her hands to the needy. She is not afraid of the snow for her household, for all her household are clothed with scarlet. She maketh herself covering of tapestry. Her clothing is silk and purple. Her husband is known in the gates, when he sitteth among the elders of the land. She maketh fine linen and selleth it, and delivereth girdles unto the merchant. Strength and honor are her clothing, and she shall rejoice in time to come. She openeth her mouth with wisdom, and in her tongue is the Torah of kindness. Right? So not only are virtuous women strong and honorable, but it says she openeth her mouth with wisdom. You know, when Paul said, I suffer not the woman to teach and for the woman to keep silent, what he was speaking of was the order of the assemblies that he was establishing. During his time, he went out and preached the gospel to many nations, many people. He established assemblies, and that was one of the orders of the assemblies, for the women to be in subject, to their husbands. That's the natural order of things. But within the assembly, the women were to remain silent and to learn in silence and to ask questions to their husbands at home. But that's speaking of the order of the assembly. When a woman is in her home, when a woman is, among other people, it says that she openeth her mouth with wisdom, and in her tongue is the Torah of kindness. So women can, don't take that on the chin, sisters, when we read Paul's writing, when it says, I suffer not a woman to teach. That's within the order of the assembly. All right. And if you read that whole thing in context, you'll see that he's giving them the way and how to order the assembly. It says, she looketh well to the ways of her household, and eateth not the bread of idleness. Because a virtuous woman's ministry, this is her main ministry, her household. A lot of women have ministries and other things and in other places, and we see that a virtuous woman is to minister is to serve. So she's serving in a lot of regards as we read through this chapter, but all of that goes back around to her household and to the example that she's setting. It says her children rises up and call her blessed. Her husband also, and he praiseth her. Right? There's nothing wrong with a man giving his wife the proper praise and adoration. It's not worship. It's giving the wife her due benevolence, her due respect. But this is the character of that woman, right? A lot of women want the praise, but they don't want to have these attributes. So as men, these are things that, we should look for, when we dealing with certain types of women. If they don't give these things off, then that's the type of woman you don't want to deal with. That's the type of woman you want to avoid. Woman who's not wise in her speech, a woman who's not kind, a woman who's not concerned about her house and her children. She's lazy, don't want to submit to the proper order of things. Those are the type of women you want to avoid. All right. Many daughters have done virtuously, but thou excellest them all. All right. Many daughters have done virtuously. Many women now are virtuous in some of their endeavors, but it says, but thou excellest them all. You know, a lot of women making their own money, providing for themselves, and that's virtuous things. Many women have done virtuously, but thou excellest them all. Favor is deceitful and beauty is vain, but a wife that feareth Yahweh, she shall be praised. Give her of the fruit of her hands, and let her own works praise her in the gates. All right. So a virtuous woman deserves the proper respect, the proper regard, the proper praise. All right. Nothing wrong with that. But as men, when we pray to the Most High, when we yield ourselves to good works, study, and it says that he'll send you a wife whom he will. So when he sends that, this is the type of woman that he sends. A virtuous woman with these characteristics. All right, so what I want to do now, let me see. I got all of that covered. All right, I want to play a couple of videos. Let me stop sharing that. Let me put up my fair use before I share these videos. Fair Use Act, disclaimer. This site is for educational purposes only. Fair use, copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, education, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. All right. So now while we got that out the way, I want to share a couple of things. Let me see. Okay. Let's start here. No. My fault. All right, I want to share a couple of videos to the brothers, especially like I said, brothers out there seeking women, and in light of how the world is today, a lot of brothers have really opted out of even trying to date or be with women altogether, and so I want to try to move in that direction now to show an example of why a lot of brothers feel or think the way that they think now when it comes to trying to date or be with a sister. And I'm gonna say this off top. It's mainly because a lot of us are not following the order of what we just read. A lot of brothers are genuinely seeking. They just don't understand how to go about it. And so now we're gonna get into some things to avoid, when seeking a mate. All right. Types of things to avoid. All right, can y'all see that? All right, I'm gonna mute this out. I may have to let it play a couple of times because it's a short video, but let's check this out.
century is this? That's the women think we still care what men say they don't like. Honey, we don't care. Oh. We really don't care. See, let me tell you something. When men say they want peace of mind from a woman, oftentimes what they really mean is that they want freedom to cheat and misbehave and not be confronted. They want to leave all the domestic chores and nurturing duties on you, not pull their weight, still live a single man and not be held accountable. It's as simple as that. So the rest of us, we have moved on. We have moved on from pandering because we've seen exactly what men do to even women who are silent. We do not care. Honey, you are on your own, oh? You are on your own. The rest of us moved on.
All right, before I continue on, I need to know if y'all could hear that. Okay, y'all couldn't hear that. All right, let me do this. Let me adjust it. I'm gonna run it back. Let me mute out.
Men don't like loud women. What century is this that some women think we still care what men say they don't like? Honey, we don't care. Oh. We really don't care. See, let me tell you something. When men say they want peace of mind from a woman, oftentimes what they really mean is that they want the freedom to cheat and misbehave and not be confronted. They want to leave all the domestic chores and nurturing duties on you, not pull their weight, still live as single men, and not be held accountable. It's as simple as that. So the rest of us, we have moved on. We have moved on from pandering because we've seen exactly what men do to even women who are silent. We do not care. Honey, you are on your own, oh? You are on your own. The rest of us moved on.
All right, how was my sound on that? How was my sound on that? Nobody could hear it. It's about as loud as I can get it. So this is on 100. Okay, hold on. Let me try it again. I think
Men don't like loud women. What century is this that some women think we still care what men say they don't like? Honey, we don't care. Oh. We really don't care. See, let me tell you something. When men say they want peace of mind from a woman, oftentimes what they really mean is that they want the freedom to cheat and misbehave and not be confronted. They want to leave all the domestic chores and nurturing duties on you, not pull their weight, still live as single men, and not be held accountable. It's as simple as that. So the rest of us, we have moved on. We have moved on from pandering because we've seen exactly what men do to even women who are silent. We do not care. Honey, you are on your own, oh? You are on your own. The rest of us moved on.
all right, I know y'all had to hear that. So basically, let me see. Her sentiment was basically, what century are we living in that this woman think that women care about how men think and feel. And her position was that when men say we want peace, what we really mean is that we want our right to basically run over women and have our way with women when we say we want peace. All right. And so I want to get what y'all thoughts are on that in the chat. What did y'all think about what this sister was expressing, what she was saying? In the beginning, there was a girl, she said, men don't like loud women. All right. And right after she said that, the sister came in and expressed everything that she expressed. And what she expressed, in my view, was a projection, you know, because oftentimes in relationships, you know, and I'm speaking of good, decent men. That's who I'm representing now. That's who I'm addressing now. I'm not representing or speaking to the dudes that's no good, the dudes that represent negative and bad. That's not a part of this conversation. I'm talking about decent dudes who, you know, when they get in a relationship, they want to do right. You know, they want to try to make it work. All right. That's what I'm representing. And so that was, she said she sounds feminist. Yeah, there was definitely a lot of positions. And another thing she talked about was men want to leave all the household chores or domestic duties. She said domestic duties to the women. All right. I guess that means washing dishes and cooking and cleaning, that kind of stuff. She said that a lot of men want to leave that to the women when in actuality, I believe it's a give and take situation. Hold on one second. What it is a situation where you have men who were, and some women work too, you know, but oftentimes in a dynamic where a man is working and a woman is home, you know, it's expected oftentimes that the women there would pick up most of that work as far as the domestic areas. But it's a lot of head bumps when it comes to men working and women working. And, you know, most of the schism is, you know, well, if I work just as much as you, why I got to do this or why I got to do that, you know. But I want to throw a question out there to the chat. If a man is working and a woman is working, does that absolve the woman from ordering the house? All right. And let me say this too. And I'm going to just use myself as an example. You know, I believe in, as a man, cleaning up. You know, I don't, you know, and that's just me personally. I grew up that way. I grew up washing my own clothes, making my own food, you know, that kind of thing. So I don't think that that's anything that men shouldn't be able to do for themselves, you know. However, I do believe that when it comes to ordering the house right, the scripture tells the women to do that, because traditionally the men would be working, providing for the house, and the women would be pretty much taking care of the home. So it comes with the territory, if that makes sense. I think we just found a way to find something minute to bicker over. Sister Aniana Coleman says, let's do it the way the Most High Yah and our Messiah, Yahushua, instructed. Tell us how to do it. Absolutely. Absolutely. I agree. It says they may teach young women to be sober, to love their husbands, to love their children. And it says to be discreet, chaste, keepers at home, good and obedient to their husbands, that the word of God be not blasphemed. All right. Then there's another passage that tell the men, to deal with your wives a certain type of way so that your prayers won't be hindered. But a lot of, like what we read in that account of Adam and Eve, where Satan was pretty much expressing himself, that's the spirit we see expressed today. So with that fall under the category of blaspheme, I want to share another video. Good post, Brother Jason. It says the culture changed when 2 incomes were required to maintain a home. That's true as well. I would even say that the 2 income part, that's the part of the standard that was set as a means to divide the household. Good point. It says all the men in my life are better at domestic duties than me, including my son. My dad loved the kitchen. My late husband preferred to do the laundry. My brothers took over with their children. I mean, you have that sometimes, It's just like you have women who don't mind getting out there cutting the grass. That don't mean their husband won't do it. It just might be something they just want to do. I like cutting grass. And another thing I like doing is vacuuming for some reason. I just love vacuuming. I love vacuuming so much. I'm the type that'll go and spend $130 on a vacuum cleaner because of the amenities. It's like, man, this vacuum cleaner can swerve and I can pull this suction off and get behind here. Man, I'm finna drop on that. But that's just me. In a lot of ways, cleaning up sometimes can be therapeutic in a lot of ways, for lack of a better way of putting it. Just something to do, You don't have to be a man or a woman to do it now. Traditionally, vacuum cleaners were sold to women back in the day, because the women were at home. But these vacuum cleaners today is like video games, Jack. I'll be like, man, that's tight. I even got me a nice little shop vac. Can suck up water and everything. But that's just me, Some men don't mind washing dishes, and that comes with certain people, But my issue is the mindset toward it. It's I think the 2 income household was set up to bring women away from their natural role in the home. And even though we're in captivity, we should strive to maintain our natural roles. Yeah. There's always a motive behind what they do. Excuse me. There was a time when women weren't as, they weren't in the workforce like that, but then they let them into the workforce. Women outnumber men, so that means that they can generate more tax dollars. They can pimp more people that way. You know. Let's see what else we got. Most of y'all just responding. Say this is why y'all says teach a child in the direct that they should go. Yep. From a young age, I can't say I like cleaning, but I hate messy and dirty is unacceptable. Yeah, I mean, like I said, you know, it's all in how you look at it. You know what I mean? It's all in how you perceive it. A lot of people, especially when you put it in this context of dealing with a man and a woman, most women will look at um, cleaning and cooking as a form of slavery, you know, and rightfully so in certain regards, not in the regard of what you should be doing for your house. Like we read the virtuous woman, you know, she looked well to the ways of her household. But then when you look at slavery, a lot of what black women had to do during slavery exhausted them, you know. If you had to spend all day nurturing and tending to the slave master's children, then had to come home to your own children without the energy to really tend to them, you know, just think of what that would do over time. Your children missing out all day on what you giving to somebody else's kid, and they're more than likely forced to start working at an early age or something like that. Over time, that'll create a complex. You know, you're not going to want to come home and do the things you need to do at home. You know, even if you want to, you're not going to have the energy, you know, and it's going to create a resentment over time. Then generations and generations of that, you know. I want to share another video right quick, and then we're going to get ready to shut down. These are the types that we should avoid as brothers, you know, the types with these types of mindsets. All right, hold on one second. Before I even share this, because I want to make sure y'all hear this. Get it all the way right. All right, that should be good. Let me see. All right, I want to share this. I'm gonna mute out. I want to know what y'all think about this. All right. Hold on.
This is probably reason number 500 thousand of why I'm going to be single for the rest of my life. And I'm fine with that. I don't want to do anything for you. I don't want to cook for you. I don't want to clean for you. I don't want to be your secretary and set your appointments and chase you around and make you go because of your health. I don't want to pick up your socks for you. I don't want to be one of those people who comes on TikToks and makes funny videos about how you can't do anything for yourself and men do the darndest things. And everybody's in the comments like, yeah, my husband does that too. My boyfriend does that too. Fuck that. I want to be with somebody who is an adult, a fully functioning adult. It's been proven time and time again that men are the ones who benefit from marriage and relationships because we get in them and we do everything, and they just get to sit back and receive everything from us. And then as a treat, they might do something for our birthday or for Mother's Day. Men get to exist in relationships and just receive. Why can't we exist together? And if we do nice things for each other, it's just organic, it just happens. But it's not the expectation, it's not something I have to do because I'm the woman. When I come home after a long day, I don't want to cook either. I don't want to do shit either. Why can't we flip a coin to see who cooks, or if we order food and then whoever cooks, the other person cleans? Why can't you pick up after yourself? Why can't you set your own appointments? Why do I have to be your secretary? I'm not working for you. I'm not working for you. I have gotten so lazy. I'm not doing anything. And then there are men who will say, well, then what are you good for? What's the reason why someone should be with you? You're proving my point. You just want to be with somebody to do everything for you. I want to be with a fully functioning adult male who we can come together and exist together, do fun stuff together. We take turns, we pull our own weight. And that seems to be unreasonable. That's asking someone to be an adult is unreasonable. I don't even want a cat. I don't even want a pet. I have a plant. I'll be a plant lady. I will be happy. I will not take care of a grown person. I won't.
All right, so what y'all think about that? Y'all think she was being extreme, or did she have a good point? Did she sound like the type of woman that would, be suitable? Now, let me say this. There are some things, like I said, I believe that men should be able to do for themselves. All right. Picking up your clothes and that kind of stuff. A man can do that kind of stuff for himself. But you had women of old times who, that's the kind of stuff they did. Nowadays you have dirty clothes hampers. A man can throw his dirty clothes in the thing, and if the woman is doing the laundry, she does the laundry. But I want to get y'all thoughts on what she sounded like. Does she sound like the type of woman that a man of the Most High should pray for to receive? Does she sound like the Proverbs 31 woman? Were y'all able to hear that? I hope y'all was able to hear that a lot loud enough. Let me get some thoughts from y'all. Brother Jason says, sounds like she's eating from the tree of feminism. Yeah, Yep, definitely. And you know, that's, I think feminism has really done a number on men and women, in a lot of regards. Say women like this are the reason why our men date other ethnicities. Some truth to that as well. And I can say this, most I don't believe in dating out, marrying out, but most men that do, you know, when I've heard them give their testimony on why they do, it's either because, when they wanted to be with a sister, sisters wasn't choosing them, you know, or because of the mentality. Right now, that's neither here nor there with me. Like I said, I stand where I stand and I do things the way that I do. But that's just the reasoning behind that. You see that a lot. It says she does not know that Yah says you must first serve or be a servant in life in order to become a son of his kingdom. Society took her soul by influence. That's an excellent point. He said, he that will be the greatest among you, let him become least of all, servant to all. You know, so that's a good point. It says, can she look for a better class of men? It's possible. I would say that's possible. You know, how do you go about that? You know, a lot of women don't want to go by what the books say, but that's a good point. Say another woman hanging with the wrong men. This is one extreme juvenile. And that's true too. You see a thing with a lot of women desiring to be with the wrong type of men, you know. And honestly, she sounded like the type of woman that, not to offend nobody, but she sounds like the type of woman that would end up sharing a man if having one at all. Just the reality of it. Those kind of things happen. It says, I also think that promiscuity is part of the problem. That's a big part of it. One of the main parts of it. As a matter of fact, that becomes the main focus in a lot of cases. Men that leave their children and don't want to help do anything are the reasons some women don't want to be bothered, nor care who you date. Yeah, that happens a lot too, but when you look around today, a lot of these types of things are circumstantial. Like me personally, I know a lot of men who have children and had to step away from their homes or their situations due to the fact of the disrespect that they were receiving, you know. And in a lot of cases, men who leave the home, are still willing to take care of the children and do for the children, but that gets disrupted, but that's all a part of that type of situation, those types of things are circumstantial. Say she need to be, what that mean? Oh, need to be alone. How about we take care of business together? Absolutely. It says, I heard that Brother Tasi say we supposed to protect and die for them. Well, If you have your wife, man, you do those things for your wife and the women who are submitted to you, you know, and to the, the sisters who are righteous, you know what I'm saying? You do what you can for them, but you're not obligated to everybody. Since European women gave our women feminism, got back in their vans, went back to the suburbs, and remained submissive homemakers. Yeah, some of them did, you know. Some of them went and got buzz cuts, if you know what I mean. But that's like I said, it's an agenda, Just like now, you have this issue with Roe versus Wade, right? We all know the political undertone of why they're doing it, but when we see the protest against it, who's at the forefront of the protest against it? It's not them, right? They overturned it, as a tactic to help stop what's going on, help stop their depletion. But when they protest against it, who's at the forefront of the protest against it? To keep the depletion, or to keep the right to deplete their numbers. Unfortunately, we got to let her have her plant. Hey, Smitty, plants got life, man. Plants got life, I mean, she said she was lazy, so to have a cat would mean she would probably have to feed it, but you still got to water the plant, But plants don't pee and poop everywhere, so just put some water in it, get you some oxygen. Plant life. It says, I know a woman who left her husband and 3 children for another woman. Her family has suffered terribly. Yeah. Yep. All for love, right? That's what it's about. That's what they say. Say, I suspect that they tolerate nonsense from other ethnicities. What you mean by that, Sister Joy? Say, what are the other ethnicities doing differently? And that's a good question. I can't really speak for that, but what I've heard in a lot of regards is that women of other ethnicities, they're more pleasant, and it's not that men are trying to take advantage, because, trust me, you can't take advantage of them no more or less than you can take advantage of anybody else. Trust me, a lot of people think that, those women are just easy to take advantage of. But if you one of us and you mess around wrong with one of them, trust me, you're gonna get got. You're not gonna be able to just do that kind of stuff. So I think it's just how a lot of those women come off. And I'm not even saying that they're any more or less submissive. I know some brothers who have some situations, marriages, relationships with women of other ethnicities, and they have good situations. There are some brothers who are with sisters and they have good situations. What I'm saying is, for the most part, brothers are going in the other direction because they see these women as more pleasant to be with, and yes, they do in some cases benefit more, Whether that's right biblically or not, that's another issue. We just dealing with the reality of what's going on and what's happening. This is what's happening. You know. But I still would say in my view, other races of women, particularly in Western society, you know, are no more or less submissive than, you know, than we say black women are. It's just that black women take pride in not being submissive. They take pride in expressing that the man is not needed. You know, they take a lot of pride in showing how strong and independent they are and how much they don't need us. And that's the difference. You know. Let's see what else we got. It says, and most of the women that are out there protesting are A, B, C, D, E, F, G people who wouldn't even theoretically utilize that service. This is how you know it's an agenda. You know? It's like, what are you protesting for? You're not trying to have no babies, right? And you definitely can't make none. So what are you protesting for? It's just like the agenda to feminize men. Every day there's a new ball player actor sporting skirts and lace stockings. Yep. Because those are who people look up to. But I don't, you know, regardless of what they do, I don't see dudes mimicking them. You know, they get clowned for that kind of stuff. You know, at least where I'm from, they are. I don't see nobody walking around with skirts and platform shoes with a tank top on, a skirt and some tights with some Timberlands. They say other ethnicities have pride in contributing to theirs. Yep, they do. They say Yah-fearing first thing on the list, Israel or Gentile woman. They say Yah-fearing first thing on the list, Israel or Gentile woman. It's interesting. They say the grass ain't green on the other side. Deal with your own. I agree. You know, and that's why I advocate for brothers to pray to the Most High before you even seek a wife. Pray to the Most High first. You know, because truth be told, ain't none of us pure. We all done been, you know, dealing with the world and doing things we all not. So if you come out of that and just jump right into a relationship, you know, you carrying those same mentalities, those same insecurities, you know. So those things have to be dealt with and guarded and even understood, you know. So that's why it's good to pray as men, you know. Pray to the Most High and let the Most High direct you. And say, you're right. They have whole pages clowning black men, talking about how thirsty they are. One just went viral, got him for 60 racks, but she's more pleasant. I don't know what that's talking about. I say we have to understand and not come so hard on one another. We have been socially engineered to behave in the manner that we do toward each other and our families. Let's fight against our common enemy. That's a good point, Brother Jason. That's why, You know, most of you brothers and sisters probably was present when I brought out that account of Adam and Eve, when I was dealing with the war between black men and black women. And I went back to the beginning and I showed that what we see now is a result of what took place in the beginning. You know, it's just that we living in the end of times and things are more blatant. You know, the evil is greater in our time. But that's the root of it. And the point of bringing that out was to go back and understand where it came from so that we as men can understand the tendencies that we have, where they came from, how to change them, how to fix them. Same thing for the women. You know, understand what was done in the beginning, understand, you know, some of the ways we operate in now and use that as a means to try to turn it around, you know. But unfortunately, you know, you do those types of things and you get slew, you know. That comes with the territory. Say, stop swirling. I agree. Say, Yah have us to be servant to understood endurance and our sacrifice upon his altar for his kingdom as recompense of our sins. You know, one of the things I like to express is that when you deal with the Bible, one of the most important things we deal with also is dispensations of time. And so a lot of things that, you know, when you look at Mashiach's time, a lot of things he told the apostles to do, you know, to go out and preach the gospel, you know, to go here and do this. When they did those things, they endured a lot, you know, but that was for that dispensation of time. And all those things are recorded. So if you read the testimony out, what Mashiach is wanting us to do is to believe on those things, believe on those works that were done. Our dispensation of time, we're in captivity. You know, we're scattered throughout the earth, and we have the Holy Spirit of promise. So the Most High is waking us up to his truth, and we're able to understand who we are, you know, understand our history, and understand a lot of things. You say the harshness of black women is likely another myth promoted by the MSM. No, I believe, well, I'll probably have to understand where you're coming from more with that. Say my ex-wife and daughter hate me, but love white men. I took care of them, but after 14 years of being together, she left me for a woman. That's unfortunate. That's real unfortunate, Brother Jonathan Blair. Hate to hear that. Sorry about that. That dog outside, y'all. So we can find Israelite women in any country. Yeah, that's true. There's black women all over the world. You know. And if I wasn't blessed and fortunate to find my wife, I would have left the country. Not necessarily for a woman, you know, but that was a move I was getting ready to make or try to make, you know, save up my money and try to relocate, travel and see what it's like. But I guess that wasn't the Most High's will. I probably would have done something wrong if I had done that. Say when you go in to men and women of other nations, it is a disservice to your own nation. Yeah, that's true. But I think Brother Smitty was saying that it's Israelite women in other nations. So it says the only real difference is how it is shown in the media every other day. A new sex scandal in the Christian church is reported, but no one cares. Yep. And that's gotten so prominent that you have Christian pastors saying that, fornication is okay. And I even heard one dude say that the best Christians are gay Christians.
Wow.
Most of these sex scandals are of homosexual nature anyway, and a lot of them are, these European women coming out and admitting that the pastor molested them 15 years ago and that kind of stuff. Yeah, Brother Jonathan. But that's all I really have on that, man. That's an idea for the brothers of what to avoid. No man needs a woman to clean up after him. So all of those examples, I believe, are just means to try to, belittle the point of a woman being submissive to a man. How do men submit? How do we submit to the Most High? We submit to the Most High by keeping His commandments, right? Keeping His instructions, loving our neighbor, loving Him with our heart, soul, and mind. That's how we submit. We submit by accepting Mashiach. That's how we submit. By believing on Mashiach, believing on the Father through Mashiach, and believing on Mashiach. That's how we submit to the Most High. And so when we look at submission between a man and a woman, what does that mean? Does that mean that a woman has to get on her hands and knees and be a slave? Well, I would say this. If when a woman hears that and interpret it that way, then do it. If you believe submission means being a slave, then be a slave. All right. You could either do that, or you can understand what submission is to your husband. You can read it in Proverbs 31. All throughout Paul's writings, he said, see that the man love his wife and see that the woman reverence her husband. When your children see that, then they'll reverence him. If your attitude is subpar towards him, mediocre, then guess what? That's how his children gonna see him, because you are their teacher. All right? They're directly under you, submitted to you, receiving from you daily. So if you teaching them that he ain't nothing, when they see him, they're going to have the adoration that a child has, But over time, if they see you regarding him as that, then they're going to regard him the same way. Unless they have a certain wherewithal within them. Because children have minds of their own as well. Children are intelligent. So when we look at submission to the husband, it's no different from us submitting to the Most High. What does your husband want? He wants peace. right? That's really all men want, just some peace. That's it. I want to come home to my family, to some peace. Peaceful home, loving family, loving environment. You know, most men don't even really care if you cook. You know, I don't really care if my wife cook. You know, if she decides to, then I'll praises. You know, now women don't feel like cooking all the time. But in spite of that, if you're willing to still make sure, you know, your man is fed, you know, he got something to eat, that's a blessing. You know, and I salute my wife, I salute any woman who has that in her, you know, to see to it. You know, now you don't have to do that, but that's part of you submitting to your husband, making sure he has what he needs. That's a blessing. If you decide to pick up his dirty clothes, cool. Right? You don't have to do it. Like I said, every man should be able to do that kind of stuff on his own. But some women love their husbands enough to do those things. Some women don't mind doing stuff like that. You know, and if you're that type of woman, don't let nothing discourage you from doing those types of things, because real men appreciate those types of things. Real men love and embrace those types of things. You know, and if you decide to continue to do it, then, you know, that's your choice. All praise to the Most High. But it's not a demand for anybody to do anything like that. It's just part of your reverence, your submission to your husband, your love for your children. You know, what does it say? A wise woman establishes her home well, but a wicked woman plucks it down with her hands. How do you pluck a house down with your hands as a woman? By not doing nothing. By being lazy. By telling your man and telling the world you don't want to do nothing for him. You know, that's a good way to do it. But, you know, my encouragement to the brothers, man, is let's strive to be like our forefather, King Solomon. All right, how we read in the beginning, let's strive for that. You know, those attributes. Let's strive for understanding who we are by knowing who our forefather Adam was, who he was created to be. He was the image of Elohim, and we come out of him. We're his seed. When the Bible speaks of Adam's seed, go read Luke 3. You'll see who Adam's seed is. It's not talking about everybody. So let's understand those things. Once we understand those things, then we'll be suitable to make better choices when it comes to, you know, choosing a mate, choosing a woman. You know, and like I said, you don't have to go searching for it. Just pray for the Most High, and he'll give you the desires of your heart. But that's pretty much it on that. I'm going to take a break. When we come back, I'm going to close out. Shalom and blessings. I'll be right back.
Exclusive. Exclusive. Exclusive.
Shalom, shalom. I'm gonna get ready to shut this down, y'all, but I want to thank everybody for your time, for fellowshipping with us at the side of the earth. Um, I hope this message was edifying. And as always, feel free to like and share this content. If you find it edifying, especially with other young brothers, and sisters, share it with our people. You know what I mean? Especially with what's going on today. We need to protect ourselves as much as possible, and to all my brothers and sisters, I say flee fornication. We living in a time where those types of things, those spirits are heightened in the earth, so we want to do the best we can to try to protect ourselves. Let's pray for one another, even those of us who disagree in doctrines. My prayers go out to all my people in all places, no matter where you are. Pray that the Most High protect you, keep you, and shield you, and lead you to the wilderness, to the place of safety. We all meet up there so that we can enter into the covenant of the Most High. It's a covenant of our forefathers, and go on into our land and then into our inheritance. Don't forget about Kingdom Conversations Wednesday nights. Of course, last night, if you missed that, feel free to go and check that out. Got Brother Kadar's YouTube channel. Go over and subscribe to that channel. Be putting in work over there as well. Like, sub, and hit the notification bell to this channel, both the Salt of the Earth channel and the Beginners channel as well, Ibri Ben Yaakov. And Friday nights, 7:30, Wake Up Jacob. That's our main time. I may be having a change of schedule here coming soon, most high willing. And so that Friday will change, to a different time, but we'll still keep the things rolling the way we got it rolling. Also, go check out the website. For those of you who haven't checked out the website, feel free to go and check it out. Get yourself something nice, something that you'll be glad to have. I want to thank everybody who has went on to the site, and also thank everybody for the feedback you've given about your merchandise. What I want to start doing is putting slideshows together for brothers and sisters who have gotten merchandise. Put a slideshow together for the channel, but that'll be something that's in the works, nothing immediate, but just to put the idea out there. I want to give a shout out to my Salt of the Earth brothers once again, Brother Bunya, Brother Cleo, Brother Kadar, Brother Hal Goodwin, and my brother Yashadeep out there putting in that work. Want to say shalom and blessings also to my brother, the Apostle Curtis Lewis, Someone Cares Ministries. Go over and subscribe to his channel. Shout out to my brothers at the Torah group for chiming in with us. Hope y'all brothers doing well. Go over and subscribe to their channel as well. On that note, brothers and sisters, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to our Heavenly Father. All praise, honor, and glory to his Son, Yehoshua Mashiach, and to the Holy Spirit, the Ruach HaKodesh. This has been a Salt of the Earth Productions. I want to thank you, brothers and sisters, for your time once again. I'm about to catch me some Z's. Shalom and blessings. Hallelujah.
Everywhere I go, the children rising. Everywhere I go, the children rising. I saw them just rise up. The wicked running, I saw them just rise up.